It is a weird week. Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're here today for another great episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast,
Yes.
which is a podcast for gamers who don't have time to game. So we're just going to jump right into this because we've got like one of the weirdest situations that I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of.
It's actually amazing.
So, yeah, this is absolutely insane is what this is. I am going to pull up this text message that I received last night, the evening before we're recording this podcast. So, this is a text message that came in from my dear friend Ryan.
Yes.
Last night. This was under his profile. And I'm gonna have to edit this, but
Beep.
Naoto and Yuki both hit like effing Mack trucks, man. Just so much damage. Now, this is not a text message that I would typically expect to get from Ryan using expletives and whatnotery. But I wasn't, I feel like I know Ryan pretty well, but like I don't necessarily know for fact that like there aren't some contexts where you might use that language. Like I just don't know. There are certain contexts where I wouldn't put it in print personally, but that's me. So I was like, okay, that's a little weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you saying?
Like I don't have any context for either of those, like any of that what was just said. And so I replied with a question mark and a little questioning emoji.
You did. I remember.
And you...
Because I said question mark.
Also replied with a question mark.
And I think I said, what's up?
That is exactly what happened. And I replied to the comment and said, this comment that
this
you
is
just
what's
made,
up.
This, like, what are you on about? To which you replied... I don't see anything.
I don't, because if you don't know, on the iPhone, if you like you can reply directly to something, and it should show you the message that you're like the exact message you're replying to.
Yes.
So go on, Josh.
So then I took a screenshot of said message and sent it to you.
Because I said I don't see anything.
And then you took a screenshot of what you were seeing. And I was just incredibly confused because nothing that I was seeing on my phone was on your phone.
It was literally an empty bubble on my phone.
And so that was like 11, let's see. That was at 11:32 that happened. That I got the text message. I got that text message at 11:32. And then at 11:40,
yes. The weird gets weirder.
You received the exact same text message.
Yeah, identical text message that you received. I received from someone else.
So I received the text message. 8 minutes later, you received the text message from someone else entirely.
Yes.
Now...
That you don't know. Josh does not know this person.
I don't know this person at all.
Yeah.
And it's like just the most bizarre... situation that I can possibly imagine going on here, and I'm still...
But the weird gets weirder.
It gets weirder. It keeps going.
So, I don't remember exactly what I said next, but I said something to the effect of this other friend who allegedly sent this message to me has no idea what I'm talking about. Much like I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah. Yes. So this random text message has come in to me and to you from no one. Like, no one sent it. It's just, I have no idea. And here's the really strange thing, is that I Googled those two names.
Yep.
And
there's so many layers to this.
And it comes from a video game.
It does.
That you happen to be playing.
I have played this video game and am currently playing it.
And I'm just like... What is like, why?
So, then today, I don't know what time, maybe around lunchtime, I get a message. I get a text message from my brother, and he is replying to something I've said related to football. That again, I have not said this message to him. So again, same thing. I screenshot my phone. I show it to him. I have not said this thing that he's replying to.
It's so weird.
Oh! I forgot. We forgot the Cheerios.
I was about to say the Cheerio thing.
Let's back up. That was at 11:30 last night.
Our conversation was 11:30 last night.
I get up for breakfast and I have a message about Cheerios from a coworker. He's like saying I sent him this weird message about Cheerios. I didn't send it. So then...
Did he screenshot that one to you?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so we don't know what the Cheerio message was, but I'm curious about the Cheerio message.
So then at about lunchtime today, the text with my brother happens. Then I think that was it until tonight when I came over here to record.
And you got the email.
I'm literally getting in my car to come over here. And I get an email about like, here is your your encrypted code or your one-time login code for Cash App. I don't have Cash App. I've never had Cash App. So I don't know if I've been hacked or
it's just
if the system is mixed up or what.
It's just such a weird, like...
Nothing makes sense.
None of it makes any sense.
Every conclusion I can come to... Parts of it make sense, but then parts of it don't.
Yeah, like none of it, as far as like a hack goes, like, you know, I was talking with a coworker of mine at work today about it, and I was like, you know, it would make sense, like, you know, if someone's hacking certain things, you know, if someone's like trying to get into your bank account or something like that, they'll start off with something small, like 5 cents or something like that, and then they'll take the full amount. And I was like, and he was like, it could be kind of like that. And I was like, yeah, but like the 5 cent thing were like a text message is usually like a, hey, what's up? Like that's the 5 cent thing.
And we talked about that because
Right.
I've been getting these like very generic text messages lately, like hey or hi, I'm in town.
Yeah.
But this was like,
and this isn't even like, this wasn't even to you. This was to me about something that made no sense. Like it's just so random.
And other than the other than the Cheerios, the I don't know how to say it. I say allegedly. The alleged text from me to you,
right?
And then the alleged text from me to my brother was about things that I would like or do like. Like one of them was about video games. One was about football. So it's like.
So with the one about Cheerios, do you like Cheerios? Is that like a thing that you eat regularly?
No,
heart health.
The only thing I have for breakfast is a cup of coffee. I don't eat any breakfast.
Okay,
so
yeah,
that one's like.
I feel so. The Cheerio thing is just out of left
it's
field.
Just weird. Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
But so like two of them like, I go back and forth. Like, is someone trying to hack me by pretending to be me with things that I'm interested in? But then like, why would someone else send me the same message?
Right.
It just
it
doesn't make sense.
And why doesn't it show up on
my phone? Yeah.
And so, and I have literally been racking my brain about this all day long. This has been like the most like bizarre thing. And this actually, I looked it up last night. Something like this happened like in 2019.
Huh.
Like, and it was like a mass thing. Like bunches of people on like iMessage like had the same thing happen.
So I'm gonna say something kind of funny. When did you look that up last night?
Probably about 12:30.
So I'm gonna tell you that I wish you would have told me that.
Oh.
Because I was legitimately creeped out last night. Like, I couldn't sleep. I think I told you, like, I got up and watched a replay of a football game.
Yes.
Because I couldn't sleep because I was like, I don't know what's happening to my phone, my information, and am I going to wake up tomorrow and be bankrupt? Like, I don't know. But I was legitimately creeped out last night.
No, I am baffled. Like, I have no idea. It's so strange. The whole situation is just so flipping weird.
So I don't know. I've changed all my passwords. I've like to everything I can think of. Email, social media. I I don't know if I need to like call phone carrier or banks or stuff like that.
I would think you would need to get in touch with your phone carrier, and I think you should go to the Apple store and ask them like,
it's a good idea.
Hey, is it possible? Because I was wondering, because it was all iMessage stuff, right? Except the one from your brother you said was from Messenger.
One of them was through Facebook Messenger. Yeah.
Which is also just bizarre.
So that's why at first, not at first, but at one point I thought hack, because I changed some passwords, and then the next thing that happened was through
Facebook Messenger.
A different account, but I don't know. I don't know.
So but what possibly could be their goal?
So I was reading about it before I came over here. And I don't think this is exactly it, but it could be similar. I was reading that if it's like a true hack thing, hackers can, if they can get you to respond to messages, somehow they can use that to pinpoint your location, hack into your phone. Somehow they use it to use your location.
Okay.
So I don't know, like, if that's what they're trying to do, because, like, if...
But I mean...
I don't know.
I mean, I'm replying to you,
right,
though. So...
But if I, quote-unquote, reply to the person who sent it to me, do they get my information or their information? I don't know.
Yeah, like, so now I'm concerned about myself now, because, like... I'm just sending you text messages. Now you get to be creeped out. Like, I just don't know. None of it makes any flippin' sense. And I just want to know, like, what's going on. And maybe I should, message I've mentioned them on a few podcasts, like back at the beginning of the year, the hacker guys.
Oh yeah, the hacker guys. Oh,
I can't think of the name. Cool. I can't think of the name of the YouTube channel now. But yeah, those hacker guys that I was watching for a while on YouTube.
That'd be cool.
The scammer.
Scammer
Payback. There it is.
Payback. There you go.
Scammer Payback. Look those guys up if you haven't yet, because those guys are amazing.
Another thing that happened. See, like, there's been so much weird stuff we forget.
Rabbit holes.
So you said this morning, after I told you about the Cheerios thing, you were like, maybe try resetting your phone or restarting your phone. So I was like, that's a good idea. So I restarted it. And when it came back on, all of my text messages were coming through as... So if I had the person's email address, it was coming through as an email. If not, it was coming through as their phone number, even though... Like, instead of it coming through as Josh,
right,
it came through as your phone number.
So here's the question on that: has that corrected itself?
I turned it off and back on again, and it corrected itself. So I don't know.
That sounds like someone cloned your phone.
Oh, that's good. I feel so much better now.
But again, like, why would messages not show up on your phone that they had sent? Like, it just... And I don't know if that's a feature. I don't know if that's a feature with, like, iMessage, that like if you send it from one device, you can hide it from another device.
I don't know.
But I don't know. That doesn't sound like a feature in iMessage.
I've never had, like, an iPad or a MacBook, so I don't know how.
Well, and my wife has an iPad and a MacBook, and so all of her like, you see everything.
Everything syncs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. None of it makes any sense. It's just it's a bizarre situation. If anyone listening to this has any idea what's going on,
yes,
like, please, like, if you have
maybe
like an inkling or anything like that,
maybe tell me or maybe don't tell me. Maybe I don't want to know.
Maybe ignorance is bliss.
I'm wondering at this point, but no, I do want to know, because as the day went on, I thought, okay, maybe it's over, and then another weird thing happened, and then I thought, okay, I'll change that password. Maybe it's over.
Yeah.
And then another one happened.
Yeah. It's just weird. Just absolutely weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. But it keeps me up at night.
Kept me up last night. Woo! Oh,
The red versus blue throwback for those
Great
of you
show.
who know. If you know, you know.
If
that
you
kind
know,
of thing.
you know.
Anyway, so... moving along from, like, strange and bizarre situations that we find ourselves in, the original text that started the whole strangeness did in fact have to do
It did.
with a video game that I had no idea, but turns out that it's a game that you are talking about.
So I've gone back and forth. I may or may not talk about it on this episode.
Okay.
I haven't. So that's another thing. You told me it was related to this video game. So I was like, oh, okay. Let me go look that up because I'm playing this game, but I don't know that it's related. So apparently they are characters that I haven't met yet. So you
maybe haven't gotten far enough in the game.
So that's why I don't know if I'll
Gotcha.
review it or not because I haven't gotten far enough.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
So, but we'll see. Maybe.
Okay. Maybe it'll come up. Maybe it won't. We'll see. So okay. Well, do we want to dive in from strangeness? So what game were you planning on talking about then? If not,
so excuse me. So I was gonna talk about Pokemon Violet and Scarlet.
Oh.
Because so back to a more funny dad story.
Nice.
Last month, my oldest son got Pokemon Violet for his birthday. And when you're a dad, when your son gets a video game for his birthday, you actually get a video game.
You get a video game.
So,
congratulations.
So we've kind of been playing that together, which is fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
And but every time he plays a Pokemon game, we start out playing it together. And then he wants me to start my own.
So that he can watch it?
So that I can... Well, one, he wants to watch me, but also he wants me to get to a really high level and then give him my Pokemon so that he can blast through the game.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
So that's what's currently going on is he every day is like, Dad, did you get to level 50 so I can have it? No, I did not.
I'm taking my time.
I got to level 50 so I could have it. So I've been playing that, which is interesting because in our Dead Tired Dads group chat, back when I got it, Matt said that he didn't care for this one because of the open world. Mm-hmm. And at first, when I first started playing it, I was like, I think Matt's wrong. I like it. Now I'm not so sure.
Oh.
Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I go back and forth because there's nothing in the game that tells you at all where to go next. So you could say, oh, I'm going to go this route and fight this person. And there's nothing that along the way that would tell you, hey, if you do that, they're going to be like 30 levels above you. So I've had to backtrack quite a few times.
That sounds like my adventures in World of Warcraft.
Yes.
And if you really want to see some fun stuff, you should go check out that YouTube.
That's good stuff.
Check out our YouTube channel and find that video from World of Warcraft because that's fun stuff.
Yes, it is. So I don't know how I feel about this game. There's parts of it that are, as good as any other Pokemon game. But the open world thing, at first, like I said, I really liked it. I liked the concept because I get bored of games that are too just extremely linear.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's like, but look at that cool thing over there. I want to go look at it.
Yeah, sure.
No, you cannot. So I get bored when it's just straight linear, but I'm finding that apparently I need some sort of guidance along the way because otherwise I just wander off into areas I shouldn't be and die horrible, tragic deaths.
Those are always the most fun.
So, yeah, I don't know. But I'm enjoying it because, like we talk about often on this show, we're dads and I'm playing it with my kid.
Yeah,
so
playing it with your kid is always good.
Yeah.
So clearly, it's good for families. So
yes.
That's awesome. So with that, I assume you can take my gamer card if you want, but I've never actually played a single Pokemon game in my entire life.
That's crazy talk.
Outside of, let's see, did I play? I feel like maybe I played something, but it wasn't like it definitely wasn't like a traditional like Pokemon
like their
game.
Typical.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like one of the like offshoot things that would have been on a console, but no.
Was it Pokemon Snap?
No.
No? That's fun.
I mean, yeah, maybe I could be wrong. I've shared before on this podcast how I've come into ownership of 2 copies of very rare Pokemon games through chance.
Just straight up luck.
Yeah. Thank you, Goodwill, for my $7.50 copy of Pokemon Black on the DS.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. But no, so like, is it still, you still like, I assume you go around and you collect Pokemon, like you capture Pokemon with your Pokeballs.
Yep,
and
similar to so many others in that regard. If you are familiar with the games, in every game there's always, they're called gym leaders, which are, bosses, for lack of a better term. There's that, but this one adds other types of bosses. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 different types of bosses now. So that actually is something I like, because you don't have to do the other 2. You can stick to the standard 8 bosses and then move on. But if you want to, they've added extra side content. So that is a feature I do like. Because,
gotcha. Well, and and my daughter has somehow picked up on this idea that like Pokemon are amazing. And so like she loves Pokemon and has never like she like watches the newer show on Netflix and everything. Yeah. And so, but I've never in my life, like I don't own a Pokemon game. And I've just realized like I've always heard it pronounced Pokemon. Yeah. And then the balls are Pokeballs. So is it Pokemon and Pokeball, or is it Pokemon Pokeball?
This is the $1 million question, Josh.
Like someone, I need clarity.
You could start a whole episode on just that.
Today on Dead Tired Dad, we're going to discuss the nuances of the semantics of
how to pronounce a word.
Like, is that a thing within?
I've heard it said both ways.
I've heard it both ways.
I say Pokemon, but I don't know if that's right. That's just how I say it. I do know that if you say Pokemon in front of my son, he'll say, it's Pokemon.
Pokemon.
So, but the only way he knows that is because he hears me say it. So, like, I don't know where he gets it.
Does he watch the show at all?
He's watched a few episodes, like 3 or 4.
Gotcha.
But not that many.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I know that there are a bunch of kids in my daughter's class that love it.
I was going to say, I figured that's where she picked it up from.
Yeah, she picked it up from people at school. So she loves Pikachu, which I'm okay with.
Of course. Yeah. You have to love Pikachu.
Yeah. So, anyway, and honestly, because she likes it so much, I might have to borrow from you, just so I can, because it does sound like something that could be good for her to maybe at least see.
You know what you should borrow from me? You should borrow on the Switch Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Okay. So it's just a remaster of the originals.
Oh, okay.
Of Red and Blue. Same locations, same bosses, same Pokemon, everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you could play a quote unquote newer one, but go all the way back.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a coworker today about, or I overheard. I guess I wasn't talking with him. I just overheard this, but he was not allowed to play Pokemon when he was growing up because they evolved, and that was the thing that his parents were like, no, we're not.
Unacceptable.
Evolution.
I have heard that too.
That's funny.
Actually, well, never mind. I'll tell you that story later.
Got it.
But I've heard that too.
That's like that's a weird one for me. I hadn't heard that one, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So the one we have is Pokemon Violet, and So what's the
when my wife listens to this episode, honey, pause the episode now and fast forward about 10 seconds, because if our son is listening, he doesn't know it yet, but he's getting ready to get Scarlet also.
Okay. Gotcha. So like, why do Pokemon games always
Have 2?
get released in 2? I've never like.
Do you want me to be cynical?
Is it like literally just a cash grab?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's always 2. It's red and blue.
Okay.
Scarlet and violet.
So it's
gold and silver.
Rule of the Sith. Got it.
There's always 2, and there's always I'm going to say between 10 and 30-ish Pokemon that you can only get from one of those games, but not the other. So, like, if you have Pokemon Violet, you can get these 30 Pokemon.
Do they cross over?
You can trade them back and forth, but if you only have one version of the game, you can't catch...
Right, but like, does your character cross-platform?
No, it's a whole new game. You have to go through the game twice.
So what does it matter? Who cares?
Because Nintendo has done an amazing job of convincing people that you gotta catch them all, and so...
Okay. By the way, hi Matt, I see you playing Baldur's Gate. You popped up on my screen as we're recording. I saw that.
So
hope you're enjoying.
Lucky. So yes, it's a cash grab. So if you have Violet but not Scarlet, you can get these 30 but not those other 30, and vice versa.
But the other 30 don't have any effect on the first 30 that you get. You just have to play the whole game over again so that you can get the other 30.
Yes.
And rather... Okay.
Yes.
I'm done.
Correct.
I'm going to stop trying to figure this out.
So, you know, in the originals, Red and Blue, Pokemon Red had, again, I'm saying 10, somewhere between 10 and 30. There was a total of 150 that you could catch.
Okay.
Red had, let's just say for simple math, there's 10. Red had 10 that Blue didn't have. So if you played through it, you could only get to 140. You couldn't get to 150. And the same with Blue. To get to 150, you had to have...
But you
both.
can't get to 150 because even if you have them all on both of the stupid games, they don't cross over. You're not mixing games.
Well, you can trade them to each other. So, like...
So...
You could catch them on... Now it's even easier. So back in the day when you and I were kids, you had to have 2 physical Game Boys and that little link
and you
cable.
Had to have a link. Okay, now I understand.
It's making sense.
I understand now. That makes it make more sense. Yeah. So you would have to trade it.
You'd trade with your friend.
You'd have to trade with your friend.
So again, it's a cash grab thing.
Yeah. So your friend has. So you wouldn't have. You just need a friend.
You have to have a friend.
I've got Pokemon Red. You've got Pokemon Blue.
We trade.
I've got the 10 you need. You've got the 10 I need. Here. Trade.
Yeah.
And then we're done.
Yep.
Like we didn't have to both buy the game. So basically what it is it's a way for Nintendo to make it so that you buy the game for your friend for their birthday.
So when I was growing up, what happened for birthdays and Christmases is I would get one, my brother would get the other.
Yeah.
So there was a Christmas where I got Pokemon Gold, he got Pokemon Silver.
And then you had to have the linking cable so that you could trade them.
Yeah.
Okay. I can kind of see that. That's a community building thing.
That's why I said, do you want me to be cynical? Because it's not super cash grabby. Now it's kind of worse now because you don't have to have a friend to trade with.
You can trade with anyone in the world?
Well, you can do that, but you can also download the, what's it called? The Pokemon Home.
Uh-huh.
And you can trade them to yourself. It's essentially the cloud for Pokemon.
Okay.
So, yeah. You can take them from the game and put them into the Pokemon Home, turn on the other game, and put them into that one. So, it's like you upload them to the cloud and then download them out of the cloud. So
Gotcha. So, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of see it.
So,
and, yeah.
Look, we're giving Josh Pokemon orientation now.
Right here. Right. You guys are getting a front row seat in all its glory. So, all right. Well, that's Pokemon for everyone out there who doesn't know. And now you know.
Now you know.
So you had your kind of weird thing.
You said you had a weird story, and I don't think I was a part of it.
Yeah, you were not.
You were part of mine.
You were not a part of this weird story. So like, I had a lot of weird stuff happen over the last day. or 2 days, I guess, because this was Sunday night. So as everyone knows, first off, a funny story. So before we get as I've mentioned on the podcast the last couple times, I've been going to the gym, which is not something that I've ever done.
Yes.
And so a couple weeks, I guess 2 weeks ago, maybe it was last week, I don't remember exactly, but anyway, the buddy of mine that I've been going with was like, you look like you're actually like you're filling, you're starting to fill out your shoulders a little bit. It's you're kind of bulking up, and I was like, I was kind of thinking that.
But I didn't want to say it
about myself. But I didn't want to say it because then it becomes like this thing where it's like, hey, do you see how big my muscles are? Does this look bigger? So like, I wanted to say something about it to my wife. I wanted to say something about it to him, and I was like, amazing. I can't because it comes off like, hey babe, does this look bigger to you?
Look at my muscles.
Is this bigger? So, but you can't do that.
That's not how it works.
That's not like that comes off as it's like because then it's like an immediate like, no. Why would you ask? Of course not.
Do you want me to answer honestly? Because awesome.
Does this shirt make my arms look big? The shirt's like 3 sizes too small.
You go and buy a extra small shirt.
No, but it makes your gut stand out. That's for sure.
No, but I can see your belly button. Please go put on a different shirt.
Anyway, so that's my funny story about going to the gym.
I love it.
But I also had 2 nights ago I was at the gym with my buddy, and we're like 45 minutes into like our hour-ish long workout, and we are getting moving on from one set to another. And this guy comes in. There are only 2 so it was me and my buddy and 2 other people who were in the gym. So there's 4 people total. And this other guy comes in. So there's 5 people in the gym. All of them dudes. And so this guy stops us on our way to our next thing and says, do you know where that's going to get you? Talking about my friend's shirt. And on my friend's shirt it says, be kind. 2 words, be kind. And he's like, do you know where that gets you? And we're like, what do you mean? Like, what are you getting at, dude?
I'm afraid.
Like, it's like, do you know where that be kind crap is gonna get you? And it's like, what? I mean, hopefully, and like, I don't know, like,
hopefully out of this situation and quick.
I don't like what. And he's like implying that like being nice to people is bad, like is not
gonna get you.
Is not gonna get you anything good. And I'm like, well, like, hopefully that's not why you're being, like, I'm not trying to get anything out of being kind, but, like, why on earth would you have anything negative to say about that? Like, what is your problem?
Hopefully just a nice, quiet life where you leave me alone.
But, like, and, like, then this guy, like, starts going on, like, and, like, the other 2 guys that were in there at the same time were also, like, they were, like, typical guy talk, but, like, I'm not, like, part of social circles where people have, like, guy talk.
Okay.
And like I've never been in those circles where like that's a thing, and like I'm just like, why are you talking about this?
You don't know me, and I don't
like
know you.
Like I can hear you like talking about this. Like I don't need to know that about you. Why would you like I understand that like there's only like 4 of us here, but like why would you be having this conversation where other people can hear you? I don't understand. I don't understand.
This is so weird.
But anyway, so this other guy comes in and like so then it like blows up where the 3 of them are having like these like really awkward conversations, and I'm just like, you people realize that there are other people in here that can hear your conversation. And like so so the the 5th guy who had come in, the only way that I can describe this guy is just like typical meathead, like total tool, like 100% total tool. And just like he like starts talking to me and my friend, and it's like, so like how did you guys meet? And it was like, what? Why are you interested in us? Leave us alone.
Why do you want to know?
Like we're working out. Can we not just work out? So like, but we were like, well, we met at church, and he was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Either that or prison. And we're like, what on earth is happening? Like, why?
Church or prison? There was no in between. There's no other place you could have met
And
a friend other than church or prison.
I guess he was implying that we were gay. Like
maybe.
But I don't know. Like I'm just like, what is going on? Like, and I couldn't.
How do I get out of here quickly?
And like I'm in the middle of like, you know, I struggle when I work out. Like I am actually like having a really hard time, and this guy's like trying to talk to me. I'm like, dude, just go lift your own. Like,
can you please go away?
Like, please just go lift your 90-pound dumbbells and leave me alone.
See, this is one of many reasons why I don't work out or exercise often, but when I do, it's in a place where there's never other humans. What I mean by that is like hiking or jogging, if I can, in the woods, far, far away from humanity.
See, like, this is the first time that anyone that I've ever had any kind of situation. Like, now granted, I've only been going to the gym for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months now. I don't know, something like that. So like, yeah, I guess it's been, almost right at 2 months. So it's nothing like this has happened. I haven't had, like, everyone is always really pleasant at the gym. Like, this dude was just an absolute tool. And the guys who were in there previously, like with the other two guys, like one of them had actually been like, yeah, you guys, like, you've been coming for a few months now. Like, you're actually like, and he actually commented, like, you're actually starting to be able to, like, you're looking good. Like you're looking a lot better than you were.
So they were normal.
Like
That's
yeah.
what you're saying.
Like, just normal, nice things to say. Yeah, they were having awkward conversations that I could hear that I didn't want any part of. But, like, you know, when they're talking to me, they're having, like, they're being
normal.
pleasant.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was just weird. So, but anyway, moving on. Like, weird situations.
I'm afraid. Life is so weird and strange lately.
Man.
I'm very afraid.
Sometimes, man. Oh, man. So, anyway, moving along from weird and strange things into more normal things that we talk about on this podcast. Back to video games. So, I've had a bit of a month. I've had a lot of like really, really wild and crazy stuff going on in my life. Lots of hecticness and more so than usual, in which I have not had tons and tons and tons of time for video games. But I have been playing a little bit. So one of the games that I've been playing, I've talked about previously on an early episode of this podcast. I've been playing Rocksmith again.
Oh, nice.
Just because music is fun for me. Music is good for me. And so, like, in all of this tumultuous stuff that I've got going on right now, like, you know, doing music stuff is helpful and makes me feel better. So I was playing that a little bit, and that's one of those games that I can just go back to that well all the time. And I can always find something to play. And it's always good for me, and it's always helpful. And even if I've been away from it for a while, I might not quite be where I was at a point, but I can get, you know, back into something. So if you haven't, you know, if you're interested in music, and especially if you're interested in learning how to play guitar, they're actually delisting it from most stores, like online stores, like relatively soon.
Oh, wow.
Which is aggravating because they've launched a new thing called Rocksmith Plus that's like a streaming, more of a subscription service.
Everyone's going to the subscription service.
Which I kind of can appreciate. I haven't done it because I haven't seen any of the song lists that I've seen. Nothing on there is like, oh yeah, I want to learn how to play that song. So like, anyway, you can find a physical copy though, I'm sure, for like a 360 if you've still got one of those. That I would highly recommend trying to find one. Anyway, beside the point, Rocksmith is good. But the other game that I have kind of been playing is an older game. And it's actually, I went back and was like looking through the podcast because I was like, I feel like I've talked about this before. But it wasn't anywhere, as far as I could tell, I hadn't talked about it. So I might have missed it. So I might have mentioned this game before and I might have talked about it before, but I don't remember doing it. But and I went back and listened to our first episode thinking that it might have made my top 5. And I was kind of surprised that it didn't.
Oh, here we go.
Because it is one of those games that, like, when I was growing up, I played over and over and over and over and over again. I played the crap out of it when I was growing up.
Those games.
And it's just, and I mentioned in that first episode, I was like, there are games missing on this because like I wanted to, because of what I was trying to do with my top 5. But like this was, and part of it was, I think, is that I was never, and I still technically have never been able to beat the game, and it just aggravates me to death. And that's something that might have been the thing that I had mentioned. I probably haven't actually talked about the game, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis is just, I don't know, man. I feel like it's a masterpiece in it's like 16-bit.
It is a fun game.
Technology, like it does so much with what it had. Like I have played that game. Like I said, I've played that game tons and tons of times. There is stuff that I can distinctly remember doing certain things in that game that I have never been able to replicate. Like getting to certain areas by doing like certain things that just like, I have no idea how I did that. I can't do it again.
Couldn't do it again if I tried.
But and that's the fun of it. It's just like there's stuff to explore in the game, even though it's a linear, like you go from point A to point B.
Yep.
But like there are multiple paths you can take in just about every level. Multiple things that you can do, and the music in that game,
it's pretty good.
Is just like everything fits so perfectly, and it's so I don't know. Like I just love Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
It's a good game.
It's a great game.
My oldest son, he's not so much anymore, but he had been playing a lot of that, actually, because he watched the Sonic movies.
Yeah.
Which I really, really enjoy, by the way. Both of those movies. But anyway, he watched both those movies and then wanted to play the game.
Yeah.
And that one that you're talking about, Sonic 2, is on the Sega Genesis Virtual Console on the Switch. So we can just very easily,
which is what I have actually been playing on. I should actually break out my Sega Genesis and hook it up and play it, but I have actually just been playing on the Virtual Console because I did get that Sega Genesis controller, and I did want to kind of try it out. There is some, as with everything with the Switch when it comes to their controllers, there are some lag latency issues at points. Like, it's not present all the time.
Yep.
But, like, every now and then something will just be off, and, like, I'm just like, that's not right. But, you know, it's such a great game. And it's, like I was saying, it's a game that, again, much like Rocksmith, I could play that game over and over and over again for forever. Like, I could always go back to that game and be like, yeah, this game is still fun.
You know what I like about it? Now that you have the create a suspend point or whatever, you don't have to lose your progress.
You don't have to lose your progress, yeah. That's true. The rewind feature is still, I
love it.
I was able to quote unquote beat the game using the rewind feature, because when I don't remember how old I was, but I got to the final boss, like the final level in Sonic 2 with 30 some odd lives, like 12 continues, and like could not beat the game. Like, I lost 100 lives trying to beat the last boss. And there's a debug mode that you can unlock with a code on the that I knew. And so I did that. I went to the last level, because in the last level of Sonic 2 there are no rings. So it's like one hit, you're dead.
You're dropping.
It's over. You're done. I laid down. So in debug mode, you can kind of turn into whatever you want. Yeah. And lay it down and, put it wherever you want to.
Okay.
So I put in debug mode. I put down one ring. One ring.
I just want one.
And I beat it. I was able to beat it if I just had one ring. But no, they don't give you any.
Not even one.
And so the problem was when you're doing that, like trying to establish because the thing with like those old bosses like that, like those old games, everything's based on, and it's still that way to some extent, but everything is based on timing.
Yeah.
Like everything's about timing, recognizing what attack is coming in, knowing how to dodge it.
Right.
When you only have one opportunity.
Yeah. It's
like,
hard to learn.
It's hard to learn what the boss is going to do, and so it's like it really becomes a Dragon's Lair situation.
Right.
Where it's like you just have to play it, and then it becomes a quarter eating. Like if you don't know the story of Dragon's Lair, it was an arcade game that literally was nothing but action sequences and quick what I can't think of what it's called.
Quick time
events, basically, in which if you hadn't done it before, there was no way you could possibly know. So, and every time you missed it, you would die. So you'd have to put in another quarter.
What it really was a box-shaped charity machine where you could donate your quarters to the arcade.
Pretty much. So, I mean, that really feels like what the last boss in Sonic 2 becomes, is like, you just have to play it over and over again, and then if you run out of lives, guess what? It's back to World 1.
Start at the beginning.
And you have you don't have any recourse on that. Like, you just go back to the beginning, you have to play through the whole game again.
Yep.
Get back there and then still remember and there's no like quick way out of it.
Right.
There's no like, hey, like here you can skip to the last level.
Nope. Do it all over again.
You have to do all of it again, and like I don't have a count on how many levels there are off the top of my head, but like
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's like 10 different levels, and each level has like two stages.
Yeah.
And then one of them has three stages. The next to last one, the Metropolis.
Rewind.
So being able to like go back and like just kind of rewind it and be like, I'm just gonna rewind that, and we're gonna figure out the timing on that, and we're gonna do it. So and in doing so, I actually learned. So like one of the things that you can do is collect the Chaos Emeralds. In the like when you run past one of the checkpoints, it has like the star thing that goes above it, and it takes you to like the track, and you run down the track and collect the coins. If you collect enough coins, then you get a Chaos Emerald.
Okay.
So if you beat the game and haven't gotten all of the Chaos Emeralds, it takes you back to the beginning. Like you can restart the game, and you have all of the Chaos Emeralds that you've collected.
Huh.
And so you can continue to collect Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
then if you get all of the Chaos Emeralds, you can become Supersonic, which is amazing and fun.
That is fun.
So I did not realize that after you beat the game that you kept your Chaos Emeralds if you restarted. So
that's pretty cool.
So that's also another good feature for the checkpoint thing that you can do.
Is go back and
is
get
like
those.
once you've gotten all of them, you can make a
right.
Like after you've beaten the game, you can make that checkpoint, and then you can go through and play through the whole game as Supersonic. And you still get to the last level and can't become Supersonic, and you have to beat it as normal Sonic. One other thing about the game that actually is rather annoying. I always liked. It's one of the first times that you could kind of do this, as far as I know. Well, no, I guess not. But like in the first Sonic game, you could just play as Sonic. In the second Sonic game, it was like you start like the default is Sonic and Tails. So, like you have both of them on the screen at the same time, so that you can play 2-player.
Right.
And one person controls, like the second player will control Sonic. But you can also go into the options section and change to just Sonic, like Sonic alone, or you can change to Tails alone.
Okay.
And so I would always go in. I always like Tails.
Yeah.
Like so, I would always change to play as Tails.
I need to remember that because the two boys that are old enough to play video games are constantly asking me how to play Tails. And as I've said before, I never had a Sega Genesis, so
right.
I didn't know anything about Sonic until this game came out on the Virtual Console.
It's so sad.
So they're always asking me, how do you beat this level, or how do you do this? And I have no idea. You guys have played it more than me, actually. So
gotcha. Yeah, but you can switch it over.
That's really cool.
So you can just play as Tails. But if you get all of the Chaos Emeralds as Tails, doesn't matter.
Doesn't do anything?
No, you don't, like, doesn't become Super Tails or anything like that.
Tails.
You just, you got all the Chaos Emeralds. Congratulations. I guess if you then beat it as Tails, then you could restart it as Sonic and you would have all the Chaos Emeralds and then you could go through. But, like, I don't know. I found that annoying, to be an annoying thing. But
so which Sonic game did they introduce Knuckles?
So Knuckles, this is actually one of the things that I love about Sega. So Sonic came out, and then Sonic 2, and then I think Sonic and Knuckles came out. So Sonic and Knuckles was a separate game that had its own, it was a completely its own storyline. It had, where Sonic and Knuckles were kind of like Knuckles was fighting for Robotnik, I think, or something. Like, I don't know exactly I never understood the story exactly. But what the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge did, it had a thing that you could flip up, and there was another port where you could plug in a game.
What?
And with that, if you plugged in your Sonic 2 game into that Sonic and Knuckles port, you could play as Knuckles in Sonic 2.
No way.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
This is mind-blowing.
Oh, it was amazing.
That's incredible.
It's absolutely amazing. And I keep waiting for them to introduce, like, Sonic and Knuckles on the Virtual Console and give you the option to play it as Knuckles. Because that's the thing with Knuckles is that you could actually reach places that you can't, because Knuckles can climb walls.
Ah, okay.
And Sonic can't. So you can actually climb up things that, like,
you can't reach.
And there's like stuff hidden in the game. And I don't know if it's through, like, if that stuff only unlocks and is only there through
if you're playing that,
or if it's, like, actually there and there's some way to actually get there with Sonic. Because, like I said, there's stuff I've done, I remember doing in Sonic that I can't do. I have no idea how I did it, what glitch I hit, or how I, like...
That's really amazing, though.
So I could go on, like, days-long rants about how, like, Sega was the most innovative video game company that ever existed, and because they were so innovative, they basically bankrupted themselves.
Yes, this is true.
Because they were trying to do so much to be, like, so innovative, and, like, everything that they did was like, that's amazing. That cost way too much money.
But it's so cool.
But that's so cool. Like the Sega Nomad, I've talked about this on the podcast before, but, like, the Sega Nomad was a Nintendo Switch before the Switch was, like,
it was.
This came out in 1995. The Switch was released in 2017.
Yep.
Like, you're talking 20 years before...
Beat you to it.
Before anyone had the concept of making a portable home console.
Huh.
Like, that's not, like...
Could the Nomad hook up to your TV or go portable?
Yes!
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Because, like, obviously the Game Boy is portable, but you can't hook up to the TV and, okay.
Yeah.
So... Huh.
No, like, it has all the stuff that a Sega Genesis has, and a color screen that you can take with you. It's a Switch. It is literally a Nintendo Switch.
Just 20.
It's just 20 years earlier. Yeah. So. Anyway, but again,
that's pretty cool.
Like, it was so expensive, and it came out at, like, the same time that they were trying to launch the Saturn.
Oh, yeah. Well.
So, like, they spent, like, tons of time developing the Nomad.
Right.
And tons of time developing the Saturn. And, like, neither of those things, like, everyone's like... And also they came out with the 32X at the same time. And it's like, what are we supposed to buy from you?
Just slow down, Sam.
Like, what do you want us to buy? And nothing, like... So they literally just overproduced their stuff and shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
But... And then by the time they realized that, it was too late. Like, they were out of money.
Well, the whole reason I asked about Knuckles is because, like I said, my Sonic knowledge is, like, 98% from the movies.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
And he's my favorite character. I love his character in the movie.
Knuckles is very cool. And after we get finished recording, I will show you the Sonic and Knuckles oh my gosh, the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge.
Yeah.
The word I am trying to say. Good gracious.
That's really cool.
It's hard to talk. So anyway, that's all I got.
There you go.
So you got anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast, and sharing with us the strange and bizarre things that have happened to us over the last several days. If you enjoyed this podcast, or have enjoyed this podcast in the past, or like anything about the two of us, please like, subscribe, follow, comment, do the things that we ask you to do all the time. All the things.
Do all the things.
Every single time. Do them all. So thanks again. And again, if you have any idea about what's going on with Ryan's phone, please tell us. We will happily hear that information. I'd love to know. So anyway, do all the things, and we will catch you next time on the next episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
Bye.